In the heart of Umudai Kingdom, surrounded by ancient Irako trees and red earth roads, there lived a young maiden named Obianuju. She was quiet, graceful, and full of light, her soul as calm as morning dew. Her mother, Queen Akugo, had died the very night Obianuju was born. The palace mourned the queen, but no one wept for the baby. Over the years, her father, King Oba Ogbuefi, remarried a woman named Lolo Mebisai, whose beauty masked the venom she carried in her heart. The people called her charming, but within her was cruelty sharp enough to cut bone. She brought with her a daughter named Ndidiamaka, a proud, spoiled girl with a golden anklet and a tongue sharper than a blacksmith's chisel. From the first day Obianuju called her mother, Lolo Mebisai treated the girl like dust beneath her feet. She made her sweep the palace floors before sunrise and wash everyone's clothes with water from the cold riverbank. Meanwhile, her daughter Ndidiamaka lounged like royalty, basking in praise and palm oil. The king, busy with his council and rituals, rarely noticed the sorrow growing behind Obianuju's smile. She became a shadow in her own home. One dry season, just before the New Yam festival, a strange wind blew through the land. The clouds turned gray. Chickens refused to lay eggs. Drums cracked without reason. Fearing the anger of the gods, the king summoned the royal priest. After hours of chanting and casting cowries in the sacred grove, the priest emerged, face pale with revelation. The oracle had spoken. The Omu stream, the lifeline of the kingdom, had become sacred ground for the spirits. No one, man, woman, or child, was to go near it for 7 market days. The king relayed the warning himself at the village square. His voice thundered, his royal staff pounding into the earth. People listened. They feared the gods. But back in the palace, Lolo Mebisai plotted in silence. Her jealousy of Obianuju had ripened like rotten fruit. That night, under the full moon, she crept into Obianuju's chamber and shook her awake. "Enani, get up. Fetch water from Omu stream," she whispered. Obianuju blinked, confused. "But the king," he said. A slap cut through the air. "You dare question me? Am I not your mother? If the king forbids, are you not still my servant?" "Oh." Now, terrified, Obianuju tied her wrapper and quietly made her way through the still, dark bush, clutching a clay pot. The moonlight barely lit the narrow path. Her bare feet sank into the red soil as owls hooted in the trees. The stream shimmered ahead like liquid glass. But as she bent down to fetch water, the wind changed. The surface of the water rippled, and a voice rose from within. "Daughter of sorrow, why have you come?" Obianuju trembled. "I was sent," she whispered. "I had no choice." Suddenly, the waters of Omu parted, and rising from its depths came Ezenwanyin Miri, the river goddess herself. She glowed like the moon, her garments made of flowing water and light. Around her danced spirit maidens, their songs haunting and powerful. The goddess touched Obianuju's forehead, and the girl collapsed. But she did not die. She was taken. The stream closed. Silence returned. By dawn, the palace buzzed with news that Obianuju was missing. Lolo Mebisai wore a wrapper of mourning and threw ashes on her head, crying false tears. She must have disobeyed. She went to the stream against the king's order. The king, consumed by grief, sent guards to search the forest. They returned empty-handed. As the days passed, whispers began to crawl through the palace walls like lizards. Ndidiamaka began to scream in her sleep. "She's here. She's watching me. She calls my name." In the dead of night, guards reported hearing weeping voices near the palace well. The royal priest was summoned again. He entered the shrine, and when he returned, he looked straight at the king and said, "There is blood on the queen's hands." The king trembled. On the 7th day, as the ban on the Omu stream was to be lifted, a storm gathered. Thunder roared and lightning split the skies. The villagers gathered at the palace, anxious, afraid. Suddenly, from the direction of the sacred stream came a blinding light. All eyes turned. A figure approached, her body wet but glowing like dawn. 'Twas Obianuju, alive, transformed. Behind her walked Ezenwanyi in human form, invisible to all but present in power. Obianuju stepped into the palace square and pointed to her stepmother and stepsister. They sent me there to die. Gasps filled the air. Ndidiamaka fell to her knees, trembling. Snakes slithered from Lolo Mebisai's wrapper. The wind howled. A heavy silence fell as the priest raised his staff. The gods have passed judgment. You Lolo Mebisai are no longer queen. You are to be banished to the cursed hills, where no one will speak your name again. Your daughter shall serve the gods in silence at the temple of repentance. The guards dragged them away as the villagers watched. No one wept. That evening, the king removed his crown and wept before Obianuju. "Forgive me, my daughter," he said. "I was blind." Obianuju embraced him. She held no hatred in her heart. From that day on, she was no longer a shadow in the palace. She was the sun. Obianuju became the people's princess, a symbol of hope and truth. And every year at the New Yam Festival, her story was retold at the banks of Omu Stream. A story of betrayal, divine justice, and the strength of a girl who was born of sorrow but crowned in light. And when children asked their mothers why no one dared to test the gods, they were told, "Because the river remembers, and the spirits always return with thunder."